Yesterday, Pat Robertson was praising transsexuals for the second time. But today, he's right back to being Pat Robertson and being viciously anti-gay.
God established marriage between a man and a woman. Now, what happens to homosexuals? You can have a tendency, there's no sin. You have a tendency, so you can be attracted to the same sex, no problem. But when you start having sex with that person, you go into I don't want to get graphic, that guy on Duck Dynasty got graphic and it got a little disgusting. But when you see what they do, it's not very pretty. And I want to say this too, nobody can ever produce a child through homosexual sex or lesbian sex. You cannot do it. This is for procreation, and God has said that those who violate it the land will vomit them out. Now, it isn't for us to tell God what's fair and what isn't fair. He set it up this way, and this is the way he wants it. And I think we, the conform, he holds all the cards. He's the one that decides who goes and who doesn't. And so don't say he's unfair. And these people are nice, and they go to church and all this kind of stuff, but they're out there doing something that God says wrong. It's wrong. And so when he says it's wrong, it's wrong. That's it, period. End of story.
That's it, period. End of story. God said it's wrong, it's wrong. Who's God? And how do you know that this God is real? Are we talking about, the gods in Hinduism? Are we talking about the old school Roman gods? Are we talking about the Greek gods? Talking about the gods of Scientology, Xenu and the rest of them? Well, I mean, what do you mean? Are we talking about Mormonism and Joseph Smith? Is that who we're talking about? Are we talking about, gods from old school Universalist traditions and, Buddhist traditions, or God as in nature, or God as in, what do you mean? Is just God, like one person? And how, if it's a person, that's not really a God. Is it a man? Is it a woman? How can there be a gender assigned to a God? The God of the Bible, Yahweh? We're talking about Yahweh here? Are we talking about Jesus? Because Jesus never said a word about homosexuality. So what are you talking about? What does this mean? Like, the fact that you can take this question that everybody has the question, what happens when we die? Why are we here? Is there a God? Is a religion true? At some point in your life, everybody had that question. Everybody thought about things like this, right? The fact that he comes out there and acts like he has this solid, concrete answer. Not only is his faith not faith, it's a fact. He wants to base law and base policy on that and judge people based off of what he thinks God thinks about certain issues, like where you put your pee-pee. It's so highly absurd. So let's break down the other stuff he said there. Nobody can produce a child through gay sex. Oh, what a genius Pat is. Sex is for procreation. Except when it's not. Except that the overwhelming majority of the sex had on the planet is for pleasure. As, by the way, it should be. It shouldn't be that every time you have sex, you're trying to get a child out of it. That would mean people, only have sex maximum 15 times in their life? What a horrible existence that is! And, by the way, if that's the standard, that you need to be able to, create a child to get married, okay, then, Pat, you need a divorce. So you're too old. Your wife's too old. Is Pat married? I'm sure he is. I don't know, though, to tell you the truth. But all senior citizens should get divorced immediately? Because that's what you're saying. It's for procreation, man. It is what it is. Okay, then all senior citizens, you got to immediately break up the second that you're no longer able to conceive. All the young couples that have fertility issues, break up. Sorry, Pat Robertson has spoken, and your love does not matter because Pat Robertson says that it's about procreation. And then I love when he says, "Oh, it's not pretty." Really, Pat? And what? Every heterosexual couple having sex is pretty? That's not true. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm a guy, and like a lot of guys, there's a lot of things I'd like to watch, but there's a lot of people I'm not interested in watching them have sex. So should all the people who it's not pretty to watch them have sex, they shouldn't have marriage rights, they shouldn't be able to live their lives as they want to? And then finally, the biggest swing and a miss on Pat's part. God established marriage between a man and a woman. That's what he did. We can't question him. Except he didn't. The God of your Bible, of your religion, set up polygamy as marriage. How do you not know this? In the Bible, see, this is for all the idiot fundamentalists out there who didn't even bother to read the Bible. In the Bible, the number one form of marriage is polygamy. There's your biblical marriage, polygamy. You know what other forms of marriage there is in the Bible? Marrying off your daughter to her rapist. Stay classy. Would people do that today just to follow the Bible? I think not. And also, men castrated themselves and lived lives of celibacy. You want to get on that type of biblical marriage, Pat? Please, go right ahead. Enjoy.